When's the last time you had a really good laugh? A back-cracking, belly-aching, knee-slapping kind of laugh. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today on this week's 3-Minute Theology Thursday. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." It says nothing about her love being like bad medicine. In both the Old and New Testaments, there are plenty of verses that talk about having a joyful heart and rejoicing and laughing. Ecclesiastes 3:4, for example, says, "There is a time to weep and a time to laugh." Laughter is good medicine. It's medicine that God has given us so that we could just uplift our spirits and not be dragged down into despair or sadness or misery for too long. I know it's easy to focus on those verses in Scripture that talk about the misery and the suffering and whatnot, but those are only a few of the verses. There are others that talk about the great joys of knowing God, of walking with God, of walking with God's people. But there's also laughter in the funny stories of the Bible. Now, some of that humor can get lost in the translations, but there are some pretty funny things. Elijah mocking the prophets of Baal, saying maybe your God's in the bathroom. God choosing to speak to Balaam through a donkey. And then there's the parables of Jesus. It's hard to imagine Jesus telling dry and uninteresting stories, particularly when he was surrounded by crowds and crowds of people, thousands upon thousands, spending the whole day just listening to him. I don't think he was like that teacher from Ferris Bueller.
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
You need to inject some humor to keep people's attention, but also to drive home the points you're making. Humor is a great way of communicating a truth, like the parable of the Pharisee and the poor tax collector, both approaching the temple to pray. As the Pharisee proclaims his goodness to God, it's hard to imagine Jesus not playing it up for the crowd. "Oh, Lord, thank you for making me so awesome. I'm so glad I'm not like that poor loser over there." It helps drive home the point that even the nature of this guy's prayers is ludicrous. And frankly, Jesus is surrounded by children all the time. How can you not laugh with children around? Our church has a preschool, and I love going over there to read stories to the kids on occasion. And I always inject humor in it because humor is how you get these kids' attention. But it's not just to make them laugh and to teach them the story. It's also just to have fun with them. Because kids are fun most of the time. And it gives me a rush to listen to them laugh as I make goofy faces and silly voices so that they can hear the story in a way that connects with them. Laughter is good medicine, especially when we can learn to laugh at ourselves, where we don't have to take ourselves so seriously that we let our faults and quirks and foibles drag us down into some kind of self-loathing. So in the spirit of promoting laughter this week, I share this video with you. Hopefully you will find it as funny as I did.
Why can't this crazy love be more? It's not unusual to be mad with anyone. It's not unusual to be sad with anyone. But if I ever find that you've changed at any time, it's not unusual to find that I'm in love with you.
Alfonso and Whitney.
This has been Daily Vlog number 282. 83 to go. I'll talk to you tomorrow.